maintain, it costs us about $200,000 to maintain that building, and the owners pay us $50,000. I mean, it's just a bad deal. So the golf course, we still maintain 3.5 acres of that golf course. Our public works, we use our public works to, supply that establishment with our services. Thus, that's about $50,000 in expense. So again, I say non-contractual positions that haven't been filled need to get off of our books. These are places immediately that we can begin to look at. But again, we have to have someone with the foresight, oversight, and the insight. And moreover, we have to have someone that's going to implement. A lot of us have great ideas up here. But at the end of the day, when you go in that voting booth, it's about, do you believe that person is actually going to follow through and do what they say?
Thank you. Ms. Metters-Ventura, your response.
Okay, so I'm going to agree with everybody. Yes, zero budget. Well, Ms. Jeffries has also already mentioned the ice skating rink and Laurel Woods. These are a drain. What other drains do we have on us? Can we reduce spending by getting rid of those drains? Can we reduce spending in other ways? One of the things that forensic audits can do is to tell us what's missing in what we're doing well, what we're not doing at all, where did something go, because somebody found some money somewhere and they didn't know they had it. All right, so there's something going on there. But we can also do things like not counting money as part of our revenue, but we don't have the means of getting it. You know the red lights. Yes. There's things we can do with property that we own that could support things like an arts market, like the Torpedo Factory in Alexandria, Virginia. We have empty buildings that could be used for that. So we need to look at what do we have that we can use, what do we have that we need to offload, what are we spending that we shouldn't be spending on, what's being misspent. But we won't know what we're going to do, what we should do, what we can do, until we have forensic audits for everything.
Thank you. That concludes the question and answer portion of this debate. And we're now going to go take a deep breath. We're going to go to a 2-minute closing statement. Each candidate gets a chance to give a 2-minute closing statement, same order as we opened with the opening statements. And I ask, please, hold your applause to the end. You're 8 minutes away from being able to applaud as much as you'd like, but out of respect and to allow us to conclude our program on time, I'd ask you to hold the applause to the end. So our first closing statement is from Mr. Sendro. Mr. Sendro, if you have 2 minutes, as will everyone else, when they get a chance to speak.
Thank you to the Chamber, Attorney Chardello, and everybody here and watching at home. We are at a consequential moment in Hamden. Early voting starts on Monday. Election day is less than 3 weeks away, and the people will choose a new mayor. There's a lot at stake. Tonight we've talked about many of the challenges facing Hamden, fiscal and otherwise. You will be hiring one of us to be the CEO of a $300 million enterprise. And keep in mind, it's your money. I have over 20 years experience in the private sector in leadership and management, as well as 20 years of public service experience in Hamden as a volunteer, an elected official, and a municipal professional. I started out on the Ridge Hill PTA when my daughters were little. I'm a founding member of the Hamden Food Security Task Force and the chair of the Greater New Haven Emergency Food and Shelter Program Board. I was elected 3 times to the Board of Education, spending a decade there. As a board member and board chair, I was involved in hiring 2 superintendents and developing and overseeing budgets approaching $100 million. I was the director of the Keith Community Center for nearly 5 years, managing the 3 town departments at Keith, including their budgets and staff. And when COVID-19 hit, I led the rapid transformation of the town's human services into emergency management mode. Also during COVID, I became chief of staff for 9 months, providing stability to the town and working with every town department and with council leadership. For the last few years, I've worked for Whitson's, the food service management company for Hamden Public Schools, is expanding the free and reduced price meal program. Before you vote, consider who brings real-world experience, who has consistently shown the responsibility, dedication, and values to lead Hamden. Vote for new leadership. Vote for proven results. I'm Adam Sendroff, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Benner, your closing statement, please.
So I'm not a professional politician. I have never run for office in my entire life. It has never been on my to-do list or bucket list. I'd like to be mayor or something. No, I've never wanted to do that. But I saw what's happening with Hamden. I saw what's happening with our country. And I said, we can't do it the same way we've always done it before because it's not working and it hasn't worked for 75 years. So I'm standing here as someone who is not a politician, someone who has not worked in the public sector, someone who is a visionary. I'm a visionary in my arts, I'm a visionary in my science, and I'm a visionary at this table. I will use whoever is the right person for the right job to get us through these really desperate times, because these are desperate times. As we move into techno-feudalism, out of end-stage capitalism, Hamden needs someone who can see through that mess, who can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not the approaching train. Someone with a sense of humor, someone with heart, someone who knows how to find the right people to do the right job. The mayor is a visionary. The mayor hires the people to help her get what needs to be done. This is why I want to hire a professional town manager. Call it a chief operating officer, whatever you like, but somebody who's got training in how to manipulate those things, how to make them work to our vision.
Thank you. Mr. Cass, your closing statement.
If you don't mind. What I've shown you tonight is authentically who I am and what I stand for. My clear vision and my clear plan from Hamden's future. One that's not based on years of inconsequential experience, but one that is built on talking to residents like you. Because you're the ones that have demanded transparency. That's why I built a transparency plan with the public transparency portal and my community representatives. You asked me for fiscal stability. That's why I've developed a comprehensive fiscal plan that focuses on the forensic audit, staffing our finance department properly, and most importantly, making your money work for you again. You've asked me for public safety. That's why I've developed strategic plans for our police department and our fire department to work on the biggest issues that are going on there today, recruitment and retainment. You have asked for a mayor who is a resident, not a politician. You have asked for a mayor who works through transparency, accountability, and most importantly, knows how to get the job done. I have a clear vision I've shown you tonight. I have a clear plan I've shown you tonight. So when you go in to that voting booth on November 4th, or if you go in for early voting, you know that when you put that check next to my name, exactly what you are going to get each and every single day in that town hall for the next 4 years. That's what you're voting for. That's who I am. Thank you, everybody.
Ms. Jeffries.
Well, you all, I think I'm going to stand as well. Why not? That's where my power comes from when I stand up. When I stood on those steps of the town hall 10 months ago now, I was a woman on a mission with a vision. I saw my town that was going on a downward trajectory, and I said, you know what? This has to stop. Somebody has to stand up and speak for the people. And I showed up to every legislative budget council meeting, ad nauseum, listening to them talk about things and not do anything week after week. And I said, you know what? It's time out for people not doing anything. It's time for someone to show up and actually be in the fray with the people, to have boots on the ground, to have a grassroots approach. So as I went and I began to knock on doors, I kept hearing a recurring theme. The taxes are too high. The mayor doesn't care. All right? And the town is in trouble. So I'm here tonight to tell you, I'm just a woman who's a business owner, who loves my town. And when I thought about, I really don't want to invade my life. I love my life. I want to live my best life. And I prayed about whether I was supposed to do this or not. And the resounding answer that came back to me was, Jamaica, this is not about you. It's about those 65,000 people in that town that need your mindset, your skill set, and your assets. So I say to you tonight, when you go into that booth on November 4th, I want you to vote E for the energy that I'm going to give this town government. I want you to vote E. That's right, row E. All right, because they put me all the way down at the bottom, trying to bury me. But you can't keep a good woman down, folks. Everybody knows the trouble that I've gone through to run for this office, but we're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're going to go down in history as the town that would not go down. I'm Jamaica Jeffries, and I approve this message. God bless you. And God bless America.
Okay, now, 4 candidates, they all did a tremendous job. They deserve your applause. Now it's time to